This is Valley News Live at noon.
President Biden is set to visit the southwest Florida coast today after the death toll from Hurricane Ian rose to at least 108. Amid the rubble and despair, there are stories of immense generosity and kindness. Manuel Bajorquez reports from Fort Myers.
A week after Hurricane Ian's landfall, the streets of Fort Myers are lined with debris. It's overwhelming. Some find little can be saved. Volunteers are going door to door distributing supplies.
We got water, we got diapers.
Many residents still lack the basics: food, running water, electricity. They include Baltasar Lopez, who told us his family evacuated to the roof at the height of the storm as their home filled with water.
I tell everyone just to lay down on the roof. Don't move, Jeremy, because the winds was so high.
Wind speeds in the area ranged from 95 to 140 miles an hour. Now the Lopez's ruined belongings sit on the front lawn.
These are families that were struggling to make ends meet before the storm happened.
And now with the storm, they don't have nothing.
Miriam Ortiz runs the Gladiola's Food Pantry in Fort Myers' Harlem Heights neighborhood. They usually assist 850 families a month. Now they've served at least 1,600 meals since Friday. Ortiz told us many people here had jobs in communities with vibrant tourist economies that were upended by the hurricane. Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Captiva. Now folks like Sylvester Manjares, once a restaurant worker on Sanibel Island, are unemployed.
El tiempo que sea, se puede encontrar algo mejor ya para poder apoyar la familia.
So looking for cualquier tipo de trabajo, cualquier labor que se So you're looking for any type of job to support your family.
And he's not alone. These women told us they spent hours on the phone trying to reach FEMA and unemployment assistance.
I don't have a job, I don't have money. I need money. I need pay bills, I need eat, and I need work.
Food, water.
And I need home.
Yes.
Manuel Bajorquez, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
FEMA's damage assessment is ongoing. The agency's administrator will travel to Florida with the president today. The state says so far it's distributed more than 2.3 million meals and more than 15 million water bottles. Well, sunshine and pleasant temperatures for now. You'll want to get out and enjoy it. Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Gash for some changes coming our way soon.
Yeah, that's right, Jillian. Right now we are looking up in our Grand Forks Home of Economy Skycam, where there are some passing clouds up there, and those are pretty much the only clouds in the whole region. Most people are seeing clear skies at this hour, and we're seeing a lot of people in the 70s and some in the 60s, those 60s primarily in the east, while those 70s are primarily in the west. Sky conditions, again, are showing that one stripe of clouds moving its way across the region, and there were some sprinkles embedded in that earlier, but it looks like those have all dissipated. And if you look towards the east coast, you can see those remnants of Ian swirling around, and this is that low pressure here in the middle that we saw those past few days, which gave us that rain. And of course, we do have that first alert weather day for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, thanks to that cold air moving in. So Thursday is that preparation day as those winds shift, bringing us a lot of cold air. So do what you have to do to prepare your house. Friday, we'll see that hard freeze, and Saturday, that cold won't be as cold, but it will be a bit more widespread. And I'll let you know what you can expect for those impacts with that cold coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Jim. A Chicago man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing a Minnesota father in a road rage incident. Jamal Smith killed 56-year-old Jay Botton of Crystal in 2021. Botton was shot in the head as he drove his son home from a baseball game in the Minneapolis suburb of Plymouth. The Becker County community will remember the longtime residents who were found dead in their home last week in what police call a murder-suicide. Friends tell us 45-year-old Steven Stearns and 49-year-old Stacy Stearns were both diagnosed with terminal cancers. A celebration of life is planned for October 22nd at Height of Land Sportsman Club. Veterans from the Red River Valley were given a hero's welcome at Hector Airport last night when they returned from a busy 3-day honor flight to our nation's capital. Once on the ground in Fargo, their hearts were jumping again as they heard applause and saw loved ones cheering their return. There were so many people and signs, and even North Dakota U.S. Senator John Hoeven was there to shake the hand of every returning veteran. While in D.C., the vets made 12 separate stops. For a look back on our coverage, go to valleynewslive.com or the VNL News app. Volunteers with Farm Rescue are doing a mass harvest today in Georgetown, just north of Moorhead. A farmer is recovering from leg surgery and can't work the fields yet, so the group is going to bring in his soybeans for him. We'll be there to capture the special harvest. Watch for that story tonight on Valley News Live. Farm Rescue has helped nearly 1,000 families since its inception in 2005. It's baseball history with a Fargo connection. New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge blasted his 62nd home run of the year last night in Texas. The dinger makes him baseball's greatest single-season long ball hitter outside of the MLB's notorious steroid era. Judge's record-setting homer breaks a tie with Fargo native Roger Maris for the most home runs in a single American League season. More than 25 students are getting a little help with their school lunch balances thanks to a donation from the Shields Gives Back program. The $1,500 donation went to Liberty Middle School in West Fargo. The assistant principal says it will be used to eliminate current negative balances and cover additional needs while applications to the reduced lunch program are being processed. If you'd like to help out students too, we have information about how to make a donation towards students' meals or milk payments. You can find that on valleynewslive.com or on our VNL News app. Coming up at noon, after a delay due to Hurricane Ian, SpaceX and NASA launched their latest mission. We hear from the crew before blastoff. But next, weather to plan your Wednesday and a few chilly days ahead.